Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel. Today's topic of discussion is on mobile IP. The heading Mobile Internet Protocol. This IPv4 addresses which are assigned to the internet service providers. Further, internet service providers, they assign to the clients, that is the users which are requesting for the IPv4 address, and that IPv4 address which is assigned to a host comes under one network, isn't it? And that network, suppose let us assume that an IP address is given to a host which is 24.6.2.12, something like this. It is prefix value is 24. Now this IP address comes under one particular network, fine, and this host is there in this network. We can say that okay, this address is assigned, and this host is always connected to this network. It is present in the network. It is a stationary host. Suppose if this host, okay, wants to move to some other network or has moved to some other network, presently it is in this particular network. This network address will be what? 24.6.2.12 slash 2.0. This will be the network address. The host is here, fine, and now this host will move to some other network, fine, and when it moves to some other network, whether it can carry the same IP address there. So can we think of a host which is moving from one network to another network can use the same IP address? Let us assume that this network is having an address as 24.3.6.0. The network address is this one for this particular network, but the host is having 24.6.2.12 slash 24. If it comes in this network, will it be able to communicate? Definitely not. If you look here, this particular node is having a prefix value 26, its starting range is 17.3, but this network is having what? Starting range as 24.6.2 and it is prefix value is 24. So this will nowhere fit here. Can we think of a IP address, okay, which is mobile in nature? Means even if the host is going to the network, the host can make use of this address only. That means the nodes which are communicating to this host from the internet can take this address itself for this host. So how it is done? How is it possible that this host can carry this address in the new network also? So now to understand the further concepts of mobile IP, you have to get familiarized with few words. The host which is there here, okay, which is there here in this original network, in the first network where it was assigned, we call it as mobile host. So remember, this is the first term you have to remember, mobile host. And since it is originally given here for this network, we say this network as the home network, fine. This is the second term you have to remember. And if this for every network there will be a default router, so the router which is attached to this network becomes the home agent. And for this new network wherein the host has actually traveled and wants to communicate, this network will be called as foreign network. And first and foremost thing, whenever a host comes here to this network, an address is assigned of this network, as well as this host will carry its home address. That means two IP addresses are there. Two addresses are assigned here. One is which one? The original, that is which was assigned 24.6.2.12 slash 24. And also when it enters this network, another address will be given from this network to the host, 17.3.6.12 slash 26. So the new address which is assigned to the host here, to the mobile host, is called as care of address, fine. And for this network, whichever is the router that is attached, that is the default router, becomes the foreign network. So now to understand the concept of mobile IP, remember all these terms. Which are those terms? Mobile host, home network, home agent, foreign network, okay, then comes the care of address. Foreign network is here. This is the foreign home agent, foreign agent. then foreign agent, then we have the care of address. So remember these different terms here in the mobile IP. So let me just take one this network, mobile host is here, this is the default router, then I will write the other foreign network here, fine. The host has come over here, and what are the other things? This is the foreign agent, foreign network, home network, and home agent. So here let us see the concept of mobile IP. First and foremost thing, when the mobile host has traveled to a foreign network, it got another address. So that means two addresses are there now with this host. Then this particular host has to communicate with other nodes, with other remote nodes. Then the remote nodes have to communicate with this host. So the address which was given here initially was what? Some randomly I'll take the address 16.2.3.4/24. So here it will have 16.2.3.3./.24. So this is there here. Now any other node which wants to communicate, we call it as the remote node. Now remote node wants to communicate with this mobile host. Now the mobile host has already traveled here. So it got a new address 17.3.6.5/26, and the foreign network is 17.3.6-0/26. So this is the network address 16.2.3.0/24. This is the network address for the home network. Now this address is there, okay, which belongs to the foreign network, but the mobile host has also got its original address, okay, home address 3.4.3.4/24. The remote, any other host, if they want to communicate with this mobile host, this host knows that the IP address of the mobile host is 16.2.3.4. That's why it will send the message to this network only. And this net router has to decide now, because this router knows that this host which was originally present in the network has traveled to another network, has already left this network. It is nowhere present here, and it has gone to the foreign network. But and one more thing is, before this communication, okay, concept I explain, I shall tell you what exactly how this particular node will get inside this network, because to get included in the foreign network also you require certain steps there. There is some procedure. So we say that there is a registration procedure here. Okay, there is a discovery process, a discovery procedure, and you call it with the name agent discovery, registration. Then only comes what? Data transfer. Actually I was explaining directly the data transfer, but let me explain here first the agent discovery. Agent discovery is, it can happen even in the home network. Whenever a new host comes to a particular network, it will try to discover what? The network by sending a solicitation message, and the default router will send a advertisement message. So with that, the host will come to know the complete information about the network. So we say this exchange of solicitation and advertisement message between the mobile host and the what is that home agent in this network is called as what? Agent discovery. Agent discovery will also happen in the foreign network. When the mobile host moves to the foreign network, it has to find out it has to get the information about the network, the default router's information. So even there it will first it will send a solicitation message. Normally sometimes what happens is, even before the mobile host sends a solicitation message, periodically the router is sending the advertisement message to all the nodes in the network. So with that advertisement message also the host can come to know the information. In case if it is not receiving the advertisement message, then this host will try to send what? The solicitation message, and the reply will come in advertisement message. In that case also it gets familiarized with that network. So this step is called as the agent discovery. Okay. After that, what happens is this node wants to register now in the home network. So for the registration, this node will send what? This node will send a request to its foreign agent. This means this is the default router, no? So it will send a registration request. It is asking that I want to register in this network, so kindly permit me. Now this router has to give the permission in the reply message, but the router is not sending the message direct, not giving the reply immediately. Instead, this foreign agent will forward that registration request to the home agent. So why it is doing that? Look here, this foreign agent, that means the default router of the foreign network, is not trusting this host. Unless and until it gets a confirmation from the home agent, only then it will try to decide whether it has to accept that node in the network or not. Similar is the case with our one analogy if I give. If one particular organization is conducting some event, and if there are participants, okay, for that event, like let us take a conference is getting conducted in the college, there are so many participants, okay, they are coming from other institutions. So what do you do that the institution which is conducting the conference will carry out the registration process, and in the registration process they will try to check whether that student or whether the person who is participating in the conference is genuine or not. How to find out? See, normally if the candidate tells orally, yes, I belong to so and so institute, I want to participate in your institution, then will they accept? No. The organization will try to ask the ID card from that particular candidate. Then only they believe. Suppose if the ID card is not available, but still the student is arguing, no, I belong to so and so student, finally the organization can call to that student candidate's college and find out whether this student belongs to your institute or not. That means you are not trusting anyone unless and until you get a what? A very correct proof from that particular candidate. Similarly, here also the foreign agent is not trusting this host. Though it is requesting for registration, then also it is not requesting. What it will do is it will try to get the confirmation from the home agent. When the home agent replies to the foreign agent, okay, in the registration reply message, then only the foreign agent will send what? Will send the reply. So let me use some different coloring here. So I want to show this registration. First one, the request has come, okay, registration request has come from here. This one, it got forwarded to here, registration request. Then this is replying now, registration reply. Finally, this foreign agent will reply to the host, registration reply. Then now this particular host can start communicating with the other nodes in the network or with any other node, and the address what it is given here in the foreign network is called as the care of address, and this is what the home address. So the host has now got two address, home address and the care of address. Now we have to see the data transfer, how this host is communicating with other nodes in the in different networks, and those different networks host, how they are communicating with this host now. So for that, you just see here, it is interesting. This so some other host now, the third host wants to communicate what? With this mobile host, which is nowhere now present in this network. Then definitely, but this remote host is not aware of that this host has moved to a certain network. So remote host is sending, normally how it communicates, in the same way it is sending the packet here to whom? To 16.2.3.4/24. So the router which receives this packet from the remote host knows that this host is not present here. What it will do is it will forward that packet to the remote host. But when it is forwarding, it is using what? The tunneling mechanism here. This packet will go to the foreign agent. Then the foreign agent has a table wherein it has done a mapping of what? Mapping of the home address with the care of address. So whenever a host comes to the foreign network, This router will maintain a table, okay, 16.2.3.4 is having a care of address as 17.3.6.5. So when it receives a packet from this home agent, it will refer the table and it will come to know, yes, the packet is for this host only. So it will it will send the packet to, it will send the information to this packet. Now this packet, when it receives, that means when it decapsulate, it will see that the sender is this remote host. Let us take x.y.z.w. So it has received a packet from this. Then the remote host wants to send a reply. This mobile host wants to send a reply. So it can send a reply to the remote host directly. Remote host need not send back to the home agent, because when it decapsulate, it will come to know the source address. So it can use that address and it will send directly to the remote host. Fine. But look here, but initially before this, the packet, whatever packet this host was receiving, this host has received via the home agent only. So rather than that, actually we would have preferred, isn't it, we would have preferred, why this remote host is sending here, instead it could have sent here only directly, but that is not possible here, because this IP address is of the mobile host is 16.2.3.4, that is known to the remote host, that is the home address. So that's the reason here. But when this remote host, mobile host receives the packet, it does not come to know, when it decapsulates the packet, it does not come to know that this remote host has first sent to the home agent has further forwarded to the foreign agent, foreign agent has sent the message. So that much of this much of things have happened here. This host is not aware of it. It simply receives the packet and it replies the packet. So this is how the mobile IP works. Still, so finally, what is the conclusion? A host, if it moves to any other network, can still communicate with the previous IP address only with this concept. But definitely there will be one inefficiency here. You can see that if directly we prefer that the packet should go from the remote host to the mobile host, but the packet travels first to the home agent, then the home agent sends the packet to the foreign agent. So we say the packet is traveling twice in the internet. If I have to give an analogy, I can just tell you one simple. Suppose there is a person, Mr. Prakash, he is staying at some address, okay, house number 704, okay, Tilak Nagar, something. He is staying in this address. This is his permanent address. Fine. He has moved temporary to some other address, new address. Then there, now whatever correspondence earlier he was getting, it was directed to this address only. Fine. Now he has he got shifted to some other area. Something will write here, random, Ramakrishna Nagar. He is now in Ramakrishna Nagar. Earlier he was in Tilak Nagar. Tilak Nagar is the permanent address of Mr. Prakash. So earlier, whatever correspondence he was receiving, it was for this only. Since he has moved temporary to this new address, still all the letters, okay, come to this address only. Especially if you remember, if you see some of the offices, government organizations, like if it is a bank or LIC or PF office, these people, they always send the letters to the permanent address, so that whatever address is mentioned in your Aadhaar card, you're receiving that only, you're receiving those letters to that address only. So here also he is receiving always to this address, but it is not here. So what will happen now? This person who is staying here, okay, or neighboring person, they will send that letter to this person, because they know that he is shifted to some other area now, and they want to send that letter, whatever they have received, to that person, Mr. Prakash. Now what Mr. Prakash will come to know? Mr. Prakash, when he sees the letter, suppose let us take for example, he has received from LIC office only. So when Mr. Prakash, when he receives the letter here, okay, he only comes to know that he has received from LIC. He is not aware that LIC people has first sent to his permanent address, that is old address, and from the old address a person has handed over to the new address. He is not aware of these things. He simply sees that letter and he says, yes, it has come from LIC office, and what he will do, he will simply reply to LIC office. Same thing is happening in the mobile IP. Okay, that host has traveled to some other host. a remote node, if they want to communicate, they are always communicating with the home network only. Home network is taking the responsibility to send the packet to the foreign network. Then the communication is possible in this way. So hope this analogy has helped you in understanding the concept of mobile IP. Thank you. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye bye.